wild.
How do you approach games against former teams?
On the move, double clock. Porzingis got both hands on 3 on the clock. Porzingis. This is Porzingis. Oh! Porzingis clearing space. Porzingis.
KP, right down Main Street.
And that just can't happen. That can't happen. That's just bad communication.
The Golden State Warriors have finally broken their losing streak after 5 games with a well-needed win over the Washington Wizards. While the final score of 125-117 doesn't sound like the convincing win one would expect over a tanking team at the bottom of the league, there's plenty of context to support the results. Draymond Green, who's been in and out of the lineup due to injury, was back to start the game against Washington. He got the Warriors started with their first 2 baskets, equaling 5 points, but didn't score for the rest of the game, despite an additional 6 field goal attempts. The day after being berated and embarrassed by Steve Kerr for a mistake made by another player, Will Richard scored 0 points, going 0 for 6 in 32 minutes. Those 32 minutes were Steve Kerr's subtle apology to Will Richard for his behavior. On the more positive performance, Guy Santos continues to be a Swiss Army knife for the Warriors. His consistency has earned him a semi-permanent role in the starting lineup. While injuries have also impacted that role, it's clear where he fits. There's no doubt his complementary role will go well with Steph Curry once the team finds themselves in good health, but it will certainly test Steve Kerr's mettle as a head coach. Finally, Kristaps Porzingis, who's been with around 6 teams over his career, was called to action against the Wizards, and despite not being the healthiest player on the court, was essentially the Warriors' first option. With both Melton and Santos next to him, these were the primary drivers for the Warriors' offense. While things seemed uncomfortably close at times, what these guys did was textbook, and they did it despite the green tax. What is the green tax, and how did these 3 guys put together a winning effort despite this? How did Will Richard infuriate Steve Kerr to the point of what amounts to a public apology and a boost in playing time? And finally, why did Steve Kerr play Omer Yurtseven for just 2 minutes against the Wizards? Check ball. The night prior, in a close game against the 3rd-ranked New York Knicks, Brandon Podziemski made a look-ahead pass to Will Richard, but overthrew the pass, resulting in a hustle play by Richard to save it. Richard managed to save the ball from going out of bounds and managed to get it back into Podziemski, who wasn't able to corral the pass and ended up kicking it out of bounds instead. Steve Kerr was livid. He screamed so loudly at Will Richard, the announcers' mics picked up every word. You could see Richard trying to explain himself, but Steve wasn't having it.
I thought Podziemski threw it a little bit too.
It was obvious that if fault needed to be found, the initial pass itself was problematic. Will made an excellent save, managing to send it right back to Podziemski, and the second fumble by Podz made his part of the sequence indefensible. It was very strange then how Steve Kerr handled both players, providing an excuse for Brandon while berating Will Richard. This did nothing to quell a lot of online mockery of the relationship between Steve and Brandon. That being said, Steve did pull back somewhat publicly by stating that he shouldn't have gotten as upset as he did.
Well, I thought he could have called the ball. It was a bad pass from BP, and BP should have made a good pass. Will's got a dunk, turns into a 5-point swing. I was mad at Will because I thought he could have corralled the ball and not thrown. I thought he was trying to make an around the back pass for a score. I might be wrong. From my angle, it looked like he could have corralled the ball and made a jump stop. And Will had just gotten an offensive foul pushing off. So I was upset with him, but I kind of regret losing my composure a little bit there.
While this comment walks back some of the sentiment, it was clear a lot still remained. His frustration clearly went into the wrong direction and likely impacted Will's confidence coming into the game against the Wizards. Now, in his 29 minutes against the Knicks, Richard only had 5 points. But in that game, against a much better team, he only took 3 shots and came away with 3 steals, finishing with a +7 in a 3-point loss. Compare that to him being a -2 in the 8-point win over the Wizards. I'll let you be the judge of Steve Kerr's impact on his young players. That was a small, but still meaningful aspect of the Warriors' close win over the Wizards. The other was the green tax. The green tax is essentially the handicap the Warriors play with when it comes to Draymond Green. It's no secret that this team has been playing much better when Draymond has been off the court. So far this season, Green is a -65 in 54 games played. There have only been 2 other times in his entire career that Draymond's been worse or even had a negative net rating for that matter. They were his rookie season in 2012 to 2013 and in 2019 to 2020 when Steph Curry was out for the entire season, -5 games with injury. Otherwise, nothing else even comes close. But it doesn't stop there. Draymond Green needs Steph Curry to balance out his deficiencies on offense. Cue this play, for example, where Santos drives into the paint and kicks the ball out to a wide-open Draymond Green on the perimeter. He drives in and kicks the pass back to Santos in a crowded paint, and he never quite gets a hold of it. But what went wrong in this play? As we've discussed, Draymond's defender is usually nowhere near him. Hence the reason Santos gets hung up in the paint where Draymond's defender is. That black hole in the paint created by Green is typically offset by Steph's gravity. With Steph on the perimeter, Draymond will usually have just one defender to get by, and that defender is usually in the paint. Most teams know that the only threat from Draymond is a cut to the basket for a layup, so that's where they'll set up camp. This takes away the space, creating a paint jam. This is why Steve has a built-in counter for the strategy teams deploy whenever they face the Warriors. It is also why Draymond only scored on his first 2 baskets. Before I explain Steve's strategy, let's describe the green tax and how Steph Curry has to pay for it. Now, I mentioned Steph's gravity offsetting Draymond in prior videos, but it might be more accurate to describe Green's impact as a white hole effect. For those of you who don't know, a white hole is a theoretical astronomical body that is the opposite of a black hole. Whereas a black hole attracts and eventually absorbs all particulate matter, a white hole expunges and repels all particulate matter. Anti-gravity just doesn't pull the same weight. So Draymond's white hole effect keeps the defender in the paint. Now Steve's counter, and you'll notice this in just about every Warriors game, is to have Draymond shoot from the perimeter to start the game. He'll have about 3 attempts initially, and if he makes at least 1, he continues to shoot. If he misses his first 3 or 5 depending on how bad things are, he'll stop shooting. The reasoning behind this is that Draymond needs to get the defender to start guarding him. If the defender doesn't respect his shot, this creates the spacing issues Steve Kerr tirelessly complains about. If he makes the shot, Draymond makes sure everyone knows it, and until that defender leaves the paint or he misses 3 in a row, he'll continue to take them. In the particular case with Santos, Draymond had already missed his last 5 shot attempts, including 3 threes. This meant no more shooting. This is Draymond's defender in the paint, a lethal combo which makes Green useless on offense. With Gee driving and attracting 2 defenders, he kicks it out to Green for the shot. But instead of taking the shot, he drives to the basket. Gee's defender turns to take the charge, which led to Draymond making an ill-advised pass to Santos that even if he caught, would still have to try to score on 2 defenders. Somehow, this resulted in a turnover on Gee Santos, his only recorded turnover for the night. This is 4-on-5 offense. Those 2 defenders that Gee Santos is seeing, that's the green tax. Put that together with him being in and out of the starting lineup due to injury and players having to play around him, you're now farming inconsistent results. Now imagine instead you replace Green with Curry. Instead of that defender parked in the paint, he's out there on the perimeter. Not only that, he's taking a second defender with him. Steph Curry reverses that 4-on-5 offense to give the Warriors 4-on-3 offense. And on his best days, when he's still hitting threes over those double teams, that's 5-on-3 offense and the true difference maker when the Warriors run motion. Despite the tax, Santos still managed to play an efficient game, putting up 18 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, and 1 steal on 7 of 10 shooting from the field and 4 of 6 from three-point range in 28 minutes. This followed up his previous performance against the Knicks, where he actually had 20 points on 7 of 12 shooting, including 2 of 4 from distance, 7 assists, 7 rebounds, and 2 steals in just 32 minutes. This is a continuation of Santos' hot streak that might be looked at as a floor now, considering he's been doing this for about 2 months. Over his last 20 games, Gee's averaged almost 16 points on 53% from the field and almost 38% from 3, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.5 steals, and a cumulative plus 23 overall compared to Green's minus 65. Despite the team's struggles, he's been a key difference maker and one of the key pieces that allowed the Warriors to stay competitive against a team like the Knicks without key players such as Kristaps and Melton, who would have otherwise been readily available. Melton is actually an interesting player. He seems to be playing at almost twice the speed of everyone else at times. He's always active on the defensive end, forcing turnovers and getting into transition. While that has been his identity ever since he became a Warrior, it should be noted that he's also trying to play for his next contract. While the Warriors might be more focused on next season, if he is able to put up good individual numbers, he'll end up going to a different team that will be able to pay him. Nonetheless, on a night when the Dubs needed it, he put up 27 points on 12 of 7 shooting from the field, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals in 30 minutes. While he didn't hit on either of his 2 3-point attempts, he did make good on all 4 of his pull-up jumpers inside the arc. And finally, Kristaps Porzingis was the main attraction going up against his former team. It's no surprise he went into attack mode. While he didn't have a great shooting night from distance, making only 1 triple for the night, having KP was almost like having Jimmy back in the fold. Porzingis by himself shot half of the Warriors' free throws, going to the line 14 times, of which he made 13, fitting alongside a loaded stat sheet. He had 17 points on 8 of 13 from the field for a total of 30, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 blocks, and 2 steals in 26 minutes off the bench. How's that for a statement? After his last game, Porzingis stated that he felt better, felt like he was well, and in his game against the Wizards, all signs point to the possibility that there might be some truth to that.
Yeah, definitely better today. And I expect with each game, I would say I need probably 4 or 5 games to feel pretty good.
While the jury is still out, considering what we're looking for is an extended period where he's not missing games, not a one-off performance, the verdict has yet to be read. If he can manage to play the rest of the season, even if he simply avoids playing on one leg of each of the 2 back-to-back games remaining for the rest of the season, it would still be considered a win for the Warriors. Eventually though, 30 minutes per night while playing back-to-backs would be a pipe dream. Oh, before I forget, despite the emergency signing of Omer Yurtseven on a 10-day contract, he only appeared for 2 lousy minutes against the Wizards. The Warriors get this new toy to try out. They face statistically the 2nd worst team in the league, yet somehow couldn't find any meaningful playing time on a team that is depleted at the center position with both Horford and Quinton Post being unavailable. The entire first quarter and majority of the second quarter went by without a sign of number 77. He was buried on the bench until just 1 minute and 13 seconds remained until halftime. He immediately went to the free throw line after being fouled with 36 seconds left on the clock and made both free throws to give him 2 points, the only 2 he'd score for the rest of the night. He of course didn't start the third quarter, but it wasn't until the 1 minute and 31 second mark that we'd see him enter the game. Within 4 seconds of entering, he had an assist to Pat Spencer on a 3 who was putting up a shot every time the ball touched his hands. But then it happened. 77 made the biggest mistake of his career. Yurtseven went up for a rebound, with Brandon Podziemski in the vicinity. Unfortunately for him, and just like I stated in my last video, the 2 met at the peak and the ball inadvertently landed inside the Warriors' basket. The reaction was instant. Steve Kerr pulled the 7-footer, and he never saw the light of day against the Wizards the rest of the way. The Warriors might just be keeping him as a contingency plan in case they run out of players due to injuries. This means potentially 2 10-day contracts and then the end of Yurtseven as a Warrior. While he's a talented player that has some skill sets that fit within Kerr's requirements, and despite Kerr's promise to play him plenty of minutes, Kerr doesn't seem to be too enthusiastic at this point. I won't speculate any further on the issue with Steve Kerr and Brandon Podziemski, however the synergy is a bit too incongruous. The impact feels like it has spilled over onto the overall team synergy, but that is likely to remain as is for at least the rest of the season and possibly next season as it's being floated as the final season for a Steph Curry-led Warriors team. Let me know your thoughts on Kerr's reactions to Will Richard and his approach to Podz. What do you think of the relationship between the two, and how do you feel this impacts the team? How does the relationship between Kerr and Green affect the team, and how will this impact the team season if and when Kerr gets re-signed to a 1-year deal? Post your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked the video, don't forget to click that like or hype button and subscribe to the channel to help promote the content. Thanks for watching. Till next time,